The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Go Cowboys! This is Media Mash,
A roundtable of Cowboys insiders
dropping wisdom
and offering sizzling takes
on the current state of your Dallas Cowboys.
Now, your host,
Newy Scruggs.
Here we are, Media Mash. Let's ride. John Machota of The Athletic, Clarence Hill, Fort Worth Star-Telegram. I am Newy Scruggs. And, all right, Cowboy rookie minicamp was here. Mike McCarthy not here because he's had a back surgery, so Mike is not around. Is he okay? John Machota, you were here for it.
Yeah, so what they told us is that it doesn't seem like it's going to be something that's going to keep him from missing, like, OTAs and minicamp. And this was kind of the time where, I mean, let's be honest. I understand that people out there see, the videos of Bryce Young. And if you draft a quarterback, rookie minicamp's interesting to go out there and watch some of that stuff. But when you're taking a defensive tackle in the first round and then a tight end, I mean, I can tell you right now, the stuff that was going out there during the open portion that we got to see on Saturday was very similar to, like, the first 15, 20 minutes of practice during the season, where it's a lot of, like, walk-through stuff. There's no, like, man, I like the way Schoonmaker was getting out of his breaks. I mean, if you're that guy and you want to talk about that, be that guy. But it wasn't anything where you were like, I got my big takeaways here. Yeah, my big takeaways is Mozzie Smith is huge. Deuce Vaughn is not. I mean, that's simple things like that. But yeah, no, I don't think it's anything that's gonna. And they said, the players have said too, that he was in the Zoom meetings with him and things like that. So
yeah, the issue is, I just don't like how they did it, and I wasn't there.
Yeah.
But if the man has surgery, why not say that? Why wait till Saturday to surprise it on you?
Right.
Why make it TV? I just don't like the duplicity of it.
Yeah.
Can I use that word, NBA,
Sure.
Mr. NBA? Hey, let's congratulate Newy Scruggs. He got his MBA this weekend from TCU. I would be remiss not to congratulate him, let everybody know this is a fine accomplishment.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Noah Bullard put up a video for anybody out there. Go check it out.
It's awesome. So
It's
check
good
out
stuff.
Newy. It's a great accomplishment. I mean, he's already been a great news anchor, but he's setting himself up, for a career after news if that ever happens. He got an MBA. You never can lose that.
He's staying comfortable being uncomfortable.
There you go.
That's the way. That's his life.
But just getting back to it, they didn't have to be so secretive about it. If you just say that, and then just not tell anybody Friday when everybody was here,
right?
And then wait till Saturday when you don't have the press conference. Oh yeah, by the way, Mike had back surgery. You're making it serious.
Yeah.
If it's not serious, not a big deal, then be upfront about it. That's what frustrates me. And I wasn't even here. I'm like, why does this have to be sprung on you like that if it's not serious? As they say, it's not serious. And the good news is the bulk, like I said, the bulk of the work of putting the offense in, he's changing the offense and he's going to be the play caller and they're putting all the West Coast stuff in there. But they did the bulk of that work before the surgery. So you want him to be on the field and be able to talk to Dak and all that other stuff. But yeah, just the Underworld Olympics ultimately is not that big of a deal. I just don't like how it was handled, how it was announced, all the other stuff. It made no sense.
Yeah, usually we would get him on both days. And then, we didn't get him on Friday. And I just figured that's because all we were going to get was locker room because there's only half the fields are available because of
CMAs.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Country Music Awards, not the American Music Awards. Country Music Awards.
I was going to say American Country Music Awards.
Okay.
There's like 4 different ones, right, Chris?
Yeah.
My bad.
And so both fields aren't available right now. And so that's why I thought, okay, well, we'll just get him, in the locker room or whatever like that. But then when he wasn't available, they say he was going to be available on Saturday, but we're going to get coordinators. I mean, I was kind of like, I didn't think anything of it because I'm like, okay, maybe he just doesn't have anything that he wants to say. And we'll finally get a chance to talk to Brian Schottenheimer, which we hadn't up until that point. And then when we get out here, then that's when they tell us that, he had it, I think it was last week, or the week before, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, number one, they weren't clear about which day he had it on.
Yeah.
It's early in the week. I mean, why do we have to be vague about it? I just don't get that. That frustrated me, and I wasn't even here. I'm like, what is the secret here if it's not a big deal? Why are we being secretive about it? Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
I understand your point, Clarence. I just hope the man has relief.
Yeah.
Because I've never had a back issue, but I've known plenty of people who do, and they talk about just being uncomfortable. Hopefully Mike McCarthy is in a place where he's got some comfort out of this thing because
they don't get better. Back problems don't just improve by osmosis that you have to do something. They generally get worse, and they get progressively worse. So if he's had back issues over the years, it was something he does need to relieve, and he may need another back surgery.
We shall see that. By the way, who are the quarterbacks rookie camp?
No, come on, don't do this to me.
No, which is that
dude out of Carolina.
Don't do this to me.
They signed a dude out of Elon from Carolina. He was at NC State.
Yeah.
Elon.
He started out at NC State, and then he went to Elon, and then so they brought him in as
he went to somewhere else before Elon. Then he ended up at Elon.
So he was out there wearing number 3.
You know what
his
Elon
name
was
was
at?
Matthew McKay is his name. He threw for 21 touchdowns and 4 interceptions last year.
So Elon is in North Carolina.
Yes.
And one of my
he's a Raleigh kid.
Yeah, one of my high school buddies. He's the baseball coach there. So he's and then Jim Schlossnagle was at TCU, was his roommate. So Elon, the Phoenix. They used to be the Fighting Christians, but they changed the name to the Phoenix. Nice little campus.
And just piggybacking on Mike McCarthy not being there, you bringing up about Brian Schottenheimer. We hadn't had a chance to talk to him,
right?
And obviously, he's offense coordinator name only. Because Mike McCarthy's calling the plays, and it's really his offense.
Which is something Schottenheimer said he has never done before.
Right. So just because I was talking to Calvin Watkins morning of the night, I just said this, because I was listening on YouTube, he's already a better interviewer than Kellen Moore. I don't know if he's a better offense coordinator, quarterback, coach, whatever else. He already gives better answers than Kellen Moore. What was your impression of him, and how do you think this thing will work, him being the offensive coordinator in name only, and really not having the input on the offense like he would as most offensive coordinators do?
Yeah, he was hitting on the whole. I mean, he was saying all the right things. Like, you look at the stuff that he said, it's a lot of the same thing that you would expect most people to say, talking about the fundamentals and how that's such an important thing for them to, obviously establish in something like this, because there's no pads on, and obviously your head coach isn't even there yet. Talking about using the entire field, talking about how he wants them to play fast and everything. I mean, it's everything that you want to hear at this stage of you taking over the offense. So I don't think there was anything that really stood out to where you were like, okay, that's going to be what's different about this offense. We're not going to know until we get out to California, until we start seeing, some different concepts and things like that. Like, I don't even think during OTAs and minicamp you'll see anything that's real noticeable. Like, wow, that's way different than what they've been doing. So I agree with you. He's very media polished, but I mean, he's been an OC in New York. He's been in these previous spots and things like that. So whereas Kellen Moore he was mostly a backup quarterback who most backup quarterbacks, they don't really want you talking very much, kind of keep to yourself. Then he was a quarterback's coach, and then as an OC, you want. Yeah, I get where you're coming from. Yeah, there are definitely different personalities. But Mike McCarthy had said that, when he went with Brian, that it was like there was a different personality, and how you want to go when you change coordinators with sometimes a different personality than the guy before.
Yeah, and Kellen Moore may have been a backup quarterback in the NFL, but he was like starting quarterback for 4 years. He talked to the media every week in college. That's commercials up there in Boise. He's just bad in front of the media.
Well, I go back to you look at Brian Schottenheimer grew up watching his dad give press conferences. Marty Schottenheimer, who should be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and then you go play at Florida.
Yep.
I don't know if when you talk about college coaches of all time in press conference, Steve Spurrier right there, and then of course being around Rex Ryan, and then being up in New York with the Jets. So he's been through it. Then I know
I still think, though, when it comes to talking in front of the media or just maybe even talking in front of the team, I think there's things you can learn, but I think a lot of that is either you have it or you don't. I don't buy into the whole this guy never talked at all, but then he was around some of these coaches, so now he starts acting like Steve Spurrier. You're either Steve Spurrier or not.
Well, and one thing I would like to know, and I will have to talk to Brian about this. I was covering high school football when he was in Kansas City playing high school football.
Wow.
So long ago.
Damn.
Back in the late 80s. I just think about, I remember.
I mean, he doesn't look old. He still looks pretty young.
Right. But I was covering high school football at the Kansas City Star when he was under, his dad was in Kansas City and he was playing high school football.
Use a typewriter back there?
Trash 80, man. That old Radio Shack Trash 80, man. The couplers.
The one thing, couplers. The one thing I was going to say, though, is that, when you tweet out some quotes from what he said, or when I wrote today for The Athletic about some of the highlights from what the coordinators had to say, and you get people, I feel like they assume that kind of McCarthy is going to just be calling the plays on Sunday, but Schottenheimer's going to be installing the offense. And I don't see it that way because Mike McCarthy has always said that, you know, if you call it, you install it. So I think he's going to be a lot more hands-on offensively. I don't think we're going to see him being the same guy that he was before and being like, oh, Schottenheimer, you do this, and then on Sundays you're up in the booth and I'm calling the plays. He's going to be heavily involved in all those meetings.
No, he has to be. You can't change the offense and be the play caller and not be heavily involved in installation and all of the script and everything else. He has to be, and again, he should be. I mean, ultimately, it's on him. You know, you get rid of, this year 4, and Mike McCarthy there, and it's funny. I keep saying this. It's funny that you go 12-5 and 12-5, win as many games as any team in the league for the last 2 years, yet you go into the season with your job on the line to a certain extent. I mean, if you don't go further in the playoffs, there's a good chance you don't make the next year.
Well, yeah, that's Monty Williams over there with the Phoenix Suns.
Speaking
of the NBA, I mean, this owners and fan bases now are going to hit that button and just say, move on really quick. That's just this microwave.
Because you got the team in place clearly. It's just like with Jason Garrett. The goal was taking the next step. Who can get me to the next step? But
you got just like the NBA, though. Do you necessarily know who the next guy is? Like, are there that many great candidates? We're like, well, we got to get rid of Monty Williams.
I think he talked on Saturday.
And the next thing I was going to say is this reminds you so much of what Wade went through. Phillips, when he was here, it was like, okay, Wade, you're here, but there's the next guy. I mean, you got Prince. You got the Prince sitting right here. You may be the king, but the Prince is right here. And so you know that with Dan Quinn. And at some point in time, I'm assuming Dan Quinn is going to get back into being a head coach when people figure out that you don't want these Jonathan Gannons of the world, that you better off.
Oh, he will be. I mean, I don't know why he didn't get a job this year, but he will certainly get a job next year somewhere. And that's something that, that's the elephant in the room for Mike McCarthy as this season gets off to, and we're going to go into the schedule and talk about the schedule and some of the tough things about the schedule, but that's the elephant in the room.
No, the elephant in the room is that we need to clarify something with Dan Quinn.
We will talk about that.
Yeah, and you're a key figure in this, so we need to discuss this.
I want to discuss that because I think that's semantics.
No, that's a good. I'm looking
I
forward
want to
this.
discuss that.
Yes.
I don't know if we need to get to a break.
Yeah.
But we can talk about Dan Quinn
no, that's a good topic.
And trying to say we were wrong about Michael Parsons. We were not wrong, and Michael was not wrong what he said.
Let us take that tease into the next segment as we talk about number 11, arguably the best player of the Dallas Cowboys. And once again, they tell us one thing, we see another. Let's do that on the Media Mash on DallasCowboys.com radio.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Hey, honey, can we talk?
Of course. What's up?
Well, I just thought you should know I've been curious about the new Dr. Pepper strawberries and cream.
Have you felt this way a long time?
No, I just think I'd really like the taste of Dr. Pepper swirled with layers of flavor.
If you feel that way, I think you should try it, babe.
It's amazing. I mean, you're amazing too.
New Dr. Pepper strawberries and cream. The new flavor you deserve.
Want to use the Cowboys locker room's favorite products? Check out the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. Right now, you can get the Jack Black Playmaker, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The Playmaker includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word Cowboys. The Jack Black Playmaker, $10, free shipping.
Hey, Cowboys fans, ready to spice up your next watch party? Bring Yo Quiero guacamole and be the game day hero. Yo Quiero means I want, and we know you want great, fresh-tasting, ready-to-serve guacamole for your home gating and tailgating events. Made with real avocados and the perfect blend of spices, it will be the star of any party. You can find us at your local Albertsons or Tom Thumb in the deli section. If you can't find it, talk to your store manager and tell them, Yo Quiero guacamole.
Back to Media Mash.
Here we are in the Media Mash on a Monday. The Cowboys 2023 schedule is out. We will dive into that a little bit later, but let's go into the best player on the football team, which is linebacker Micah Parsons, number 11, with Clarence Hill, the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, and John Machota, the Athletic. I'm Newey Scruggs. All right. Pass rushing linebacker. That is the title. We want to know, what is he? What is he? And this is what Dan Quinn said this weekend.
Yeah, Dan Quinn wanted to clarify something that Clarence Hill and a few others reported back when
defensive coordinator Dan Quinn.
I want to say it was like, what was that, a week and a half ago?
It was a week before. It was the same day as the
home run derby.
Home run derby, whatever that was, like May 3rd.
Yeah. So on earlier in that day, Clarence interpreted Micah's comments a certain way, and it just was very clear that Dan Quinn wanted to clear this up. Yeah, it was May 3rd that was on.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we're talking to Dan Quinn on Saturday, a lot of the stuff he's talking about, he's being kind of vague with. It's early. It's rookie minicamp. But that one specific thing he really wanted to clear up, and that was about Micah Parsons' position, and that he is not becoming a full-time defensive end in Dan Quinn's eyes, that he is going to be a, quote, pass-rushing linebacker. Dan Quinn then added, if you ever need position changes, come to me. What I think he was probably trying to say is, quote, I'm really emphasizing some pass rush into my offseason. What are your thoughts, Clarence?
My thoughts are that he's always emphasized pass rush in his offseason. Those are my thoughts.
There's one thing different about this offseason, as you know, that you reported about Micah, though. What's the difference about this offseason?
Well, he's bulking up to play more in, because in the bottom line, it was the wear and tear of the position. We asked him, what does it mean? You can be versatile, but having mainly focused at one spot, how does that free you up to be the best you can be? That was the question. It allows me to just study. Instead of studying everything, I just studied that one guy I need to beat on Sunday, studying how to win faster. Before, I was focused on a lot, focused on running back, focused on receivers, focused on concepts. Now I can focus on running to the quarterback and stopping the run. That's not moving around. Those were his words. And so the bottom line is 80% of the snaps last year he played defensive end.
So here, I got the exact numbers. So his rookie year on the defensive line, 374 snaps, 374 on the defensive line.
Right.
Last year, 738. So not even close.
How much at linebacker last year?
Last year at linebacker, only 171 snaps, whereas a rookie, it was 498. But I think what Dan Quinn was trying to say is, like, don't assume that he just, like, DeMarcus Lawrence, your left defensive end, Micah's our right, and then we go. Like, he wants to continue to move Micah around.
Most likely move around on the defensive line.
Yeah.
He won't be playing middle linebacker that much. And that's the thing about the beauty of what we talked about. With the world's Waldo, is it going to be here? Is it going to be there? They want to get, and Micah talked about it, and it may be a contract thing, but the bottom line is this: Micah understands. Whether we want to label it, what you want to label, it's all about the labels. When you get, are we going together? We have girlfriend, relationship. What's the label? Everybody want to put a label on it, okay? Don't put a label on it.
Wife, your girlfriend, and your main chick.
The bottom line is Mike is getting after the quarterback, and they're going to use him to do that, which he did a lot last year. And he understands, as we all understand. Look at you. You're good with numbers. Tell me Micah's sacks between the first 8 games and the last 8 games of the season. And what was the difference? The wear and tear of playing defensive end, getting chipped, all that stuff at the defensive end position. I talked to Greg Ellis about it, at church, and he just talked about that playing that end position, the wear and tear on your body. It's a war at that position. You're in there. It's different than being a linebacker where you're free and your legs are free. And that wore on him, and Micah talked about how it wore on him, which is why he is in Austin bulking up, adding some weight, not adding 220 pounds, but adding strength and power to handle the rigors of playing defensive end most of the time.
Yeah, because you don't want to add too much weight, and then it hurts your quickness.
No, he's still quick.
And absolutely.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that the other part of this is, and I could be wrong in this, but just from my opinion, he's just so much better at rushing the passer than he is at playing linebacker. And also, I don't think that if they wanted him to really play linebacker all the time, that they would have drafted him as highly as. I mean, this was always going to be the plan. Oh, looks like we have a hand up in the back. Clarence, go ahead. You got a question?
they value pass rush linebackers more than they do off the ball linebackers. They pass getting to the quarterback is a valuable. One thing that why they drafted him, and as you see since he's been here, he's made the biggest impact at getting after the quarterback. That's when ooh. Going back to his rookie year when they started him at in for the first time in that Chargers game, and we saw. That's what opened everybody's eyes. Oh, yeah, we like what he did the first game at linebacker, but he went to end. That's a different guy.
And I also maintain it's just not his stats. It's look at the totality of the defense, the 2 years he's been on the defense, the way it's, lifted all boats. The entire defense has gotten to a level that, I started covering the team in 2011. This has clearly been the last 2 years the best defense that I've covered. So, I know you guys will say probably like the Ratliff defense and some of those with Ware, but that's these last 2 years, the whole defense has gotten better. It's not just like he gets a bunch of empty sacks and, hey, look at this great numbers. Like the whole defense is better because of him.
Which is also why he was excited about the Mozzie Smith pick.
For sure.
Getting that push up the middle. And Mike McCarthy talked about it. At the end of the day, when they started giving up stuff against the run, they couldn't rush the passer as much. You stop the run, you earn the right to rush the passer more. And then when you get somebody with some push up the middle, it allows guys off the edge to get to the quarterback.
The actions are what I always like to go by. Micah's actions, what he's doing and where he's at. Taking Mozzie Smith in the first round. Then in the third round, taking the Overshown linebacker from Texas. That, to me, speaks to, all right, Anthony Barr, we appreciate you, but we need to move on. Leighton Vander Esch, we like you. We've given you a contract, but we also know you've had injury histories. We need to help improve our linebacker position. By the way, we don't exactly know about Jabril Cox, exactly where he is. So, but when you bring in an Overshown, to me, this is another piece of where you're saying, hey, Micah Parsons, exactly, you've already put out the numbers as well. You're going to spend more time down here. We've got to, have somebody else. We're not going to see a lot of LVE Parsons next to each other doing their thing. This is a different kind of jam.
And also just linebacker, it's just the position in general just isn't as what it used to be. To be honest with you, if you're talking about an off-the-ball linebacker, that might be the least important position on the defense as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, no doubt.
I need elite pass rush. I need somebody in the middle that can mess. I almost said the wrong word, but stuff up, and then I need a shutdown corner way more than I need this. Hey, does everybody want Bobby Wagner? Yes, everybody wants Bobby Wagner, but if you can give me those other three positions, I can be okay at linebacker and get by.
Linebackers and running backs are definitely 25 years to see what they have, what they once were and what they are now.
It's frustrating me because I grew up as a lover of running backs. I grew up in the heyday of running backs. The O.J. Simpson, Earl
and
Campbell,
the linebackers
70s,
are the running backs of the defense.
The 70s, Walter Payton.
William Andrews and Lynn Kane. We've seen guys. Wilbert Montgomery.
Really? Are we doing this? Did he say Lynn Kane? I'm talking about Hall of Fame.
I was thinking Barry Sanders for sure.
So help me out, okay?
Here's how I'm going to help you out. So I go back into that living in my time living in the Savannah, Georgia, where you saw you basically saw
Falcons.
Said
Herschel Walker.
Actually,
Bo Jackson.
So it's funny when you said when I was in Savannah, Georgia, Herschel won. He won the national championship.
Right.
And
the election. Sorry.
Yes, they were elected number one.
Okay.
After they beat Notre Dame, they were elected number one.
Okay.
Yes.
But Lynn Kane, dog.
But at the time now, the Falcons. See, I'm living here. The Falcons were a decent team under Lehman Bell. So it was Lynn Kane, William Andrews.
Sir.
That was the Danny White comeback game at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium.
I remember that. I understand that, but you could have said Kevin Mack. Could have said the running backs of Cleveland. Could have said Franco Harris. You brought up Lynn Kane and William Andrews. Help me out. You could have said Billy Sims. You from Detroit.
My all-time favorite.
Billy Sims. I love Billy Sims, Oklahoma.
My all-time favorite professional. My all-time favorite professional athlete by far is not even close. It's Barry Sanders. So I know where you're talking about. That it is. That changed so much. I'm like, is Barry Sanders today getting 20, 25 carries a game?
Yes.
Is he?
Yeah.
I would hope that he is, but with the way that they use multiple backs and.
I do think I still think running backs are important. And you look at Christian McCaffrey and what he did for San Francisco when he went there, and he when he's been healthy, he's been an impact player.
Yep.
And I still think that they matter. Which I can't. The guy in Minnesota cut yet?
No.
Okay.
No.
No.
No, it's all.
It appears to be coming soon, but yes.
Right. They got him on the plane. Okay, pushed him over the board. Yeah, but yes.
But even if you're talking about people that aren't in the building, without saying any names, like I just don't see them spending significantly on a running back. I really don't.
Well, I don't know what you add right now. And my point is, and you talked about this on Twitter the other day, but it's right now an arms race.
Yeah.
You know, we know you're a good team. Okay, you're going to be competitive. What's going to get you over the top? You know, when San Francisco went and got Christian McCaffrey, it was to get them over the top. They already had a good running game.
Yeah.
They had good running backs. They put Debo back there. They had one of the top running games. What's going to put you over the top?
But if Stephen Jones is sitting in this chair right now, you know what he's going to say to that. He's going to say, "Well, that's why we went and got Gilmore. That's why we went and got Cooks." So that's what That's
at
why we
those
got
positions. But is there a limit to what you can get?
Yeah.
You know, is there? You know, it's like if there's everybody talks about. I mean, Isaiah Wynn just signed with Miami. Yes. Former first-round pick attacker. He moved to guard. That would have been a good guy to sign in because guard is supposed to be his best position. And he just signed with Miami. You know, I don't. You know, you're going to have this Zeke money in a couple of days, less than a month from now. You know, what are you going to do with it? You know, just what's going to put you over? You like your team. You got all these changes. You still need something. And it's not just getting to the Super Bowl. You look at those AFC teams. They got weapons.
This is one where I'll actually go back into what Stephen Jones has said and believe it. The acquisition business is year-round.
It is.
So June 1st, we're going to see people available. There are going to be people available. And we have seen this team in the past go get some of those people. So that's why I would say, let's see where it goes.
Yeah, and like I said, I'd rather get them in training camp and get them here acclimated to the system part of the team and wait until, at the end of training camp and all this stuff. I'm just saying that, you've been to this point. You have a good team. You're most likely going to get to the playoffs. What's going to get you to win in the playoffs? Not just trust, not just you need players. You need to exhaust all avenues to improve the team to get you over the top. Because it's about getting over the top now. It's not about getting there. You've gotten there. I loved one of the quotes I love from Mike McCarthy. He said the key to breaking through is repeatedly getting there. In the past, the Cowboys get the playoffs, then they out the playoffs. They get the playoffs, then out the playoffs. Getting there in back-to-back years. That's a step forward. Now, how do you take that next step?
I've been trying to get the contract on this. It's the Dolphins. All I got is it's a 1-year deal.
Yeah, it's a 1-year deal, but
final numbers aren't out yet.
Yeah, I don't think it's a big deal, but because it's just a 1-year deal, so he didn't get big money.
For Isaiah Wynn, I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm talking Isaiah Wynn. It's not big money, but it's again the Dolphins are a team that has continually added talent.
Right.
Added talent at every position. Continue to add talent. And they're going to continue. It's like, what the Jets are doing. I'm just saying, they did great with getting Cooks and Gilmore. Don't stop.
What are your top?
But that's okay. You say that, but we have seen in the past under Will McClay, they continue to add pieces. Last year was a point where, from a receiver standpoint, we all agreed they didn't do enough. They tried to tell us they did. They clearly were wrong there. But to speak to your point, I just believe there's going to be more folks coming in here. They're not done.
I agree. And my point is don't just add pieces on the cheap. If there's somebody you can get, you got some money, get an upgrade. Don't just be bargain basement adding pieces. Okay. Because that's what they before this year, that's what it was all about, bargain basement. All these guys they brought in, and we love the cursed position, but they didn't invest. We love what they did, but they didn't invest a lot in those moves.
We'll see if they shop at the mall versus going down to the bazaar, the little flea market, or Trader's Village.
If they came to you guys though and said that, all right, we're going to do that. We're gonna find somebody that's going to be, it's going to be notable, like who we had. But we can only do one, and it's either going to be kicker, left guard, or running back.
I'm not investing in the kicker.
Okay.
I'm not. I mean, there's too many out there. I don't have to spend big money on a kicker.
Right.
And I think one of those veterans, and we talking about kicker, they're going to die. They're going to love to want to play indoors. Those kickers have all kicked outdoors for their entire life.
Absolutely.
In swirling winds, and whether they got old or not, they're going to be better at AT&T Stadium indoors for most of the season than they were in Green Bay or San Francisco or whatever else.
Right.
But I don't think you have to invest.
So
big
running
money
back
in kicker.
or guard, you only get one.
Depends on who it is. I think the person matters. The player matters. The player.
All right, let's get a break here. We got to go into the schedule. On the Players Lounge earlier, we went through the schedule and gave out our predictions. So just get your thoughts from John Machota, The Athletic, and Clarence Hill, the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, and New Scores, the Media Mash on DallasCowboys.com radio.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Want to use the Cowboys locker room's favorite products? Check out the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. Right now, you can get the Jack Black Playmaker, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The Playmaker includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word Cowboys. The Jack Black Playmaker, $10, free shipping.
SeatGeek has your back no matter what kind of fan you are. So whether you're a diehard fan or a don't really care fan, a we got 'em next time fan or we'll never win again fan, a here for the tailgate fan or a first one through the gates fan, SeatGeek not only makes buying and selling tickets easier than ever before, they made just about everything else easier too. So whether you're a here every week fan or haven't been here in years fan, SeatGeek has you covered. Download the SeatGeek app today. SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats.
Hey, honey, can we talk?
Of course. What's up?
Well, I just thought you should know I've been curious about the new Dr. Pepper Strawberries and Cream.
Have you felt this way a long time?
No, I just think I'd really like the taste of Dr. Pepper, swirled with layers of flavor.
If you feel that way, I think you should try it, babe.
It's amazing. I mean, you're amazing too.
New Dr. Pepper Strawberries and Cream. The new flavor you deserve.
Back to Media Mash.
Scruggs here for the Media Mash, where our Cowboys insiders give us their opinion on things. We've got John Machota of The Athletic, Clarence Hill, the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. The Cowboys 2023 schedule is out. The preseason is a Jacksonville home game date yet to be determined. A game at Seattle. So Brian Schottenheimer gets to go back to Seattle, where he once helped Russ cook. And then it is a preseason finale against the Las Vegas Raiders.
Let me stop you down right now. I'm upset. How long has that Vegas Stadium been open?
Yeah, no, man, it is.
How long has the Vegas Stadium been open? Who's invested in this Vegas Stadium? Okay, who helped sell the tickets, market the Vegas Stadium? Who has
food and beverage?
Food and beverage Vegas. Why have not the Cowboys been to Vegas?
I'm just as upset.
Why have they not taken us to Vegas?
Because
I'm upset.
Me too.
Because Mike McCarthy can take you to Vegas.
Oh, you talking about at the end of the season?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just saying. I don't want to leave that. I don't want to leave it. It's 27 years. I want to leave it a chance.
That's pretty good.
I don't want to leave it a chance.
Jerry's got a plan.
He got a plan. I'm trying to get to Vegas, man.
Yeah, me too.
I like that. The script writers are trying to get you there.
I mean, seriously, they opened the LA Stadium.
Yep.
That was a big deal. They've been there 100 times. The Vegas Stadium's opened
up Houston Stadium.
Opened up Houston Stadium. That he helped, sell the tickets in Atlanta and San Francisco. They've been there and they still haven't been to Vegas.
Who did open the Vegas Stadium? I don't even remember who they played in that game.
I don't remember. All I know is we haven't been in the regular season or the preseason. I don't understand. I don't get it.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
I'm sorry, Clarence.
No, I'm right there with you, man.
Get on down.
If I can,
the San Remo.
Trying to get to Vegas, man.
Go
gambling on.
I would love, looking at the schedule, I would love to trade December 17th in Buffalo for December 17th in Las Vegas.
Oh, my God. I'm saying I want to go to FanDuel and make some preseason bets. Oh, can we do that?
Is that the official partner? DraftKings. Make sure you're with the official
I don't play for the NFL, okay?
Yes. You are a sponsor liability in this show.
Yes.
Whoever, what is that? What do we do?
DraftKings.
DraftKings. I know they got some stuff going on.
So on the Players Lounge, we went through and we picked the schedule. Barry Church, former Cowboys safety, went 10-7. Danny McCray, former Cowboys safety, went 12-5. Heckma Harrison.
Oh, 16-0, 17-0.
He went 13-4.
Okay.
And I went 10-7.
Yeah. I did a thing for The Athletic doing that. I didn't go down the list and say win, loss, but like in the actual story. But when I go down the schedule, that's where I have them at too. 10-7 is what I think this team is. I think it's a much more difficult schedule than they've had in previous years. I do think that they'll still make the playoffs. I just think that they'll be a wild card. I think that, the Eagles will end up winning the division for the first time in back-to-back years since 2005. And I'd say for me, when this came out, the first thing I looked at was that week 14 through 17. I mean, that's a rough path right there. You got Philadelphia at home, and then you go to Buffalo, and then to Miami, and then you get Detroit at home, which I think Detroit will be better this year. And it's all around that whole like holidays time and stuff like that. Like I look at that and I go, you got to be happy to get out with that with 2-2.
I guess I'm drinking the Kool-Aid because I got them 12-5.
Okay.
I looked at the losses and I looked at the games and.
You got your 5 losses that you can run off?
Yeah.
Like split with the Eagles, split with the Giants?
I don't split with the Giants.
Okay.
I don't think the Giants are that good.
Okay.
You
got them beating the Jets then too, right?
I got them beating the Jets. Okay. No, I got them beating the Jets.
So you got them starting 3-0, 4-0?
I know I got them. Hold on, let me see if off the top of my head. I got them losing to Buffalo and Miami.
Oh, back-to-back losses.
I got them losing to Eagles in Philadelphia. I got them losing to San Francisco.
I got all those losses as well.
How many is that?
That's 4. That's at least 4.
I think I got them losing to Washington at the end. It's
right.
probably going to be the Washington Jets.
That would just be wild if it went down that way, because then they would be losing 3 of their last 4 games to finish
going into
like
the
that.
playoffs, but they had a great start.
I mean, one of the reasons I went with 10-7 is because of that Washington game last year. I never thought that they would end the season the way they did at Washington.
But the game essentially meant nothing.
It didn't, but there were still starters playing throughout.
Yeah,
they were trying to win that football game, and to play as poorly as they did against an awful Washington team.
They played poorly.
That was kind of an eye opener. So when I see things like that, the Jacksonville loss last year, and this isn't just last year. Every year there's always a couple losses where you're like, yeah, I didn't really see that. So I try and factor that in too.
No, yeah, the Jets game is going to be interesting, and I think everybody's pumping up the Jets, and we'll see what Aaron Rodgers looks like, in the first year.
So I called for the Giants. I'll give you my losses.
Yeah.
I went with the Giants as a loss.
In the opener?
To start the opener,
okay.
Yes, I did that. I was really iffy on New England because I go back to that.
So you got them beating the Jets?
Yes.
Losing the Giants but beating the Jets?
I'll just go game by game for you. I've got them losing to the Giants. Then I have them beating the Jets. I have them beating Arizona. Have them beating New England. That one I'm still iffy about.
Why?
Sure about that. Because Bill Belichick is pretty good.
Who's his quarterback?
Mac Jones, the same guy who took him in overtime the last time around.
Different team.
And once again.
Well, that's probably one of the differences that you and I are on the same side, and probably he probably has him starting 4-0, where even if I don't agree exactly with your games, I completely think that 3-1 is how they start that season going into San Francisco.
Then it's that NBC game in San Francisco. I have that as a loss. Mm-hmm. I've got McCarthy outwitting Kellen Moore for a win in Los Angeles. Then I've got them beating the Rams. Mm-hmm. Then I've got them losing
at Philadelphia.
Yeah, losing in Philadelphia. Then I've got them beating the Giants. I've got a win over rookie Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers. I've got a loss to Washington on Thanksgiving Day.
At home?
The same.
You act like that hasn't happened.
Thank you.
Like, I mean, what team have you been covering?
To Washington at home on
Thanksgiving? How well have they played on Thanksgiving?
I don't know, but the only time
you don't remember carrying Cole Beasley out the field like Rudy? Or Tyreek
I'm talking about Washington.
Tyreek Hill, under new management. We got new ownership, baby. They might give him.
Magic Johnson might be out there.
That's right.
So you got to lose them twice to Washington. What you got them? Because if they can lose at Thanksgiving, they definitely lose in week 17.
No, I've got them winning.
That makes no sense. Going down with the schedule.
Okay, thank you. Let me finish, please. So, loss on Thanksgiving, followed up with a loss to Seattle. So I got back-to-back
Mike
losses.
McCarthy may not make it out of Thanksgiving, if that's the case.
Then I've got them, after the 2 losses, all the heat.
What's your record right now after losing?
I don't know. So
you got a whole lot of losses.
So
I'm just saying, Mike McCarthy might not make it after that Thanksgiving bye.
So
if that's the
so
case.
let me finish. So you got 2 losses back to back with people like you turning up the heat. So then they defeat Philadelphia at home on NBC. Then it's back-to-back losses again. I got them losing at Buffalo and losing Christmas Eve at Miami, to then finish out the season with a win over Detroit and a win against Washington for a 10-7 season.
I just love how he just thinks it's so ridiculous that they could lose on Thanksgiving to Washington. They literally did that in 2020. They got blown out by Washington.
Okay, who was the quarterback in 2020?
How about the Raider game?
The Raiders were a better team. Who was the quarterback in 2020?
Who was the quarterback last year at the last game when they played Washington?
I'm talking about.
I mean, let's not act like.
I'm just talking about. I think the motivation was different last year when they played Washington. I think the Washington that was their Super Bowl.
I've just learned that I don't take anything on Thanksgiving as some gimme.
By the way, by Newey's math, he was 6-4 after Thanksgiving. Just letting y'all know.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We were lost over here. We were about to have them at 7-10.
But he did have them losing in Seattle, so there's a 6-5 going into the Philadelphia game. They must win to get stay above.
I'm like, you got them losing to Washington still at home, but beating Philadelphia at home. That's
okay. So
that's a confidence. I mean, that's. And you got to lose. I mean, I think the Detroit game is tougher than the Washington-Seattle game at home.
Yeah, the Detroit game depends on Detroit, though. Like, there easily could be, there's expectations this year. They could easily be a team that maybe wins 6 or 7 games, and then you go into that game, it doesn't matter. You can say the same thing about
Washington-Seattle. I think Detroit is a better team than both of them.
Well, with Washington, though, when they're in your division, weird things happen to division games. That's the only reason why I think it's a little different with Washington.
I go back to the Jacksonville game. I go back to Green Bay. These are games where where they were heavily favored to win the games
and leading significantly.
Double-digit leads in the fourth quarter.
It's funny, but they were still 12-5. I mean,
But Clarence, what my point is, as I'm doing this, it's not crazy to sit up here and say,
no, it's nothing's crazy. It's NFL. Everybody's supposed to be 8-8. I think the interesting thing about the schedule is that
they play 17 games now.
Oh yeah, well it's parity, whatever. The NFL version of parity.
Right.
9-8 now.
Yeah.
Jeff Fisher will be a winner now.
I'm just.
So the interesting thing about it is that you got a 3-4 on the road in October, right before the bye. That's crucial. How they manage those road games right before the bye. And certainly and then you got that end of the season with 3-4 on the road, and certainly that tough stretch right there is how do you handle those tough stretches? But certainly there are a lot of home games in the middle there that they should be able to get fat on if you believe in home and road disparity.
It is kind of wild that they only have that one stretch where they have back-to-back home games, Like when the schedule came out, that was one of the first things I looked at. I was like, man, there's not any back-to-back home games at all.
They're 3 straight.
Yeah, but before that, I mean, how long does it? I mean, you're going all the way to Thanksgiving before you get one of those.
So you want me to go like Heckma Harrison and go 13-4?
No, I don't.
They start off 5-0, and they end up with another 5-game win streak.
I'll let you make it. You do your thing.
I'm just saying.
Do your thing. I think this team has a chance to be pretty good.
Yeah,
for sure. And
10-7 is pretty good.
Okay.
I really don't think it matters if they win 10 games or 14 games. It's going to be about what they do in the playoffs anyway. So
it does, but I believe that it's at some point playing at home matters in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And you want to position yourself to have the best success in the playoffs. Clearly, you got to do it. No matter where home road, Marv, what Jesse
and you know what?
say.
12 wins might do it because I don't see Philly winning 14 games. And their schedule might be the toughest in football.
They are the toughest in football. They're the toughest in football. And again, I think, first of all, no team is repeated. And we've talked about this.
2005, yeah.
2000, yeah. When the Eagles did in 2003, 2004.
Yep.
But no team is repeating the East. And going into the last season, we all knew the Cowboys should repeat, right?
Yeah.
And just like this year, we all know the Eagles should repeat. They're the best team by far, right? Well, that's not a gimme.
Did you pick the Cowboys to repeat last year?
Yeah.
I did not. I picked Philadelphia.
You're Nostradamus. Anyway, no one saw that coming but Newey.
Right.
I'm just saying most people didn't.
No one.
But what I'm saying
Three of us
is,
on the playoff side picked Philadelphia last year.
I was going to say it was like a coin flip. Everybody thought it was going to be close.
Okay, I didn't. Based on the year before, the unknowns about Hurts because no one knew.
I thought Hurts would be better. I did not think he would be anywhere close.
No, it was no one knows.
I thought he was going to be good because they put some weapons.
Good and MVP caliber is two different things.
Yeah,
right. Well, good and but again,
good enough to win that division.
I think the Eagles took a step back this offseason. They're still the best team.
Yeah.
Talent-wise, I think they took a step back. You know, we can say we won all those Georgia players. Jordan Davis didn't play last year. Didn't play much, had no impact.
They're looking
Nakobe Dean had no impact.
The year 2 jump.
I agree, but and just like the 2 guys that got from Georgia this year,
right.
to say they're going to come in and make instant impact, I go back to Jordan Davis last year, Nakobe Dean last year. We don't know. You know, and then you know, Jalen Carter already got a lawsuit going against him. So there's some questions.
Yeah, they lost the coordinators, and they lost
both coordinators.
They lost their D tackle.
They lost the safety that led to league in interceptions.
Yeah,
you know, so
Javon Hargrave, the defensive tackle,
and he had 11 sacks.
Yeah, he was
so
good.
I'm just saying, yes, they're still talented, but to say that they're just should repeat, I don't know that that's the case. They still have some things they have to get done.
Sure,
and I think the Cowboys haven't.
But have the Cowboys done enough to make you think that they jumped the Eagles?
Well,
I don't know if they jumped it. I said they closed the gap, but I do think the Cowboys roster right now is better than it was at the end of the season. I would say the Eagles roster right now is not better than it was at the end of the season. And that's all I'm saying.
I talked about this on the Players Lounge. I won't dive too much into it because we're at the end. But do not forget the aspect that there is going to be someone who goes from last place to first place. We saw it in this division a couple years ago when Ron ended up winning in Washington, even though they slinked by.
Man, that would be such a surprise.
That's because of injuries. If Dak don't get hurt, we don't have that conversation.
All right, but still, it doesn't take away from the point of this is going to happen in the league. Jacksonville last year, prime example, last place to first place. So let's see how this thing plays out. Obviously, there are more moves to go.
Yeah.
There are more moves to go. So this is a living, breathing document that we've just done right now. Your 12-5 can change. My 10-7 can change. Your 10-7 can change as we see who improves and who gets better. But this is also why we love the national.
Something to talk about. It's funny. People they tease the schedule. They drop games. It's all everybody was talking about.
Yes.
What do you feel about that December 17th? You wanted to go to Vegas. How do you feel about December 17th in Buffalo? I was not happy about that.
We're not going to go to Niagara Falls and go see the sights,
I'm thinking we might be going to Ford Field in Detroit for that game because it'll be snowed out.
We're going to Niagara Falls, man.
Okay.
We're going to go see frozen Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
What you got to do?
You guys have fun. I'm going to be rooting for you.
Frozen Niagara Falls, man.
I can't wait to see your tweets. So feel good. You guys out there on that day, outstanding.
They got to give you a cold weather game, man. They can't just let you go scot-free.
You remember the last time they were out there?
Your boy Kellen Moore.
Yeah.
Kellen Moore.
16-6, baby.
and the next day, remember Noah couldn't come back because of the snow.
It is beautiful.
But again, you look at the schedule and we don't have a cold game in Philadelphia. You don't have that cold game. You got to have one. They just can't let you not have a cold weather game. You remember those December freezing games in Philadelphia we've had?
Washington could suck.
Washington
don't get as cold as Philadelphia. We haven't really had one of those games. No snowy
Doesn't mean
game.
it can't happen.
Exactly. Don't know.
But of course,
by the way, speaking of Washington, as we get out of here, congratulations. You were up in D.C. as your daughter ended up getting her degree from Howard University. I
was there this weekend. It was a great time.
She will always let you know where she went to school. There's no doubt. And he's got his second daughter. She's getting ready to graduate high school and go to Rice. She's going to be on the Rice cheerleading team. So,
and you know who their first game was against?
Deion Sanders.
That's TCU. No. First game, his first game at Texas in September. I told her she's been a gymnast all her life. I said, you don't understand the heat you're going to deal with being a cheerleader for those football games because she's always done indoor sports.
Man, what if Rice wins that game?
It would be something.
Let's ride.
John Malkovich ran into that once when my first year working in Austin.
Not happening.
Chill's gonna have all his rice gear on.
Right.
I got to put some rice gear on. My white dogs. I need some good seats because they put opposing team up high. I got to use my connections to get some good seats.
You're gonna have on like one of those split shirts. It's gonna be.
Yeah, Rice cheerleader, hook 'em horns on this side, Rice cheerleader on this side. Yeah, Jairus' dad.
I actually can see you doing that.
First she'll be with, Dad, you're embarrassing me. Can you sit down?
You do a good job of embarrassing.
I was going to say.
That is your specialty. Boy.
That's my baby.
She's going to get you them tickets. They're going to put it right at the very top of the stadium.
Dad.
You'll be up there at the top of way up the top, the Bob Uecker area. All right, Clarence Hill, thank you. Fort Worth Star Telegram. Check his work out there. Of course, check out John Machota's work over at The Athletic. I'm Newey Scruggs, Media Mash. Thank you, Chris Beam, and everybody in Jazzy to help get this thing on the air. Big Will, right here, DallasCowboys.com radio.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?